Welcome to your first homework assignment. So in this assignment you're going to learn the correct way to export a project from Eclipse so that you can then transfer it to your home computer or some other location so that you can continue to work on it. We're going to begin with the Hello World project that you already have created. If it doesn't say so already, go ahead and just make the single line of code in it say system out println hello world. All we're looking for here is to have a simple program with some basic features in it. Now what we're going to do before we actually get started with the next step of exporting the project is we're going to add some documentation, and the documentation takes the form of something we call a Java doc comment. Java doc comments will pop up when somebody else references your code, and we can see what this looks like when we hover over the system.out.println. We see a Java doc comment for that system, and if we then hover over the out part, we see something slightly different. And finally, if we hover over the print line, we see this more expansive little instruction document on how to use this particular method within the system.out class. So what we're going to do is create something like this for our own code, and we do that by doing a / followed by 2 exclamation marks, and you'll notice that your text here turns blue to indicate that you've started writing a Java doc comment. And then you're going to hit enter, and it helpfully fills in for you this little thing here, which we call a Java doc tag, and it may or may not fill in a useful name for you here. Since I don't like that, I'm going to actually put my name, and I would always like you to use your last name, comma, first name. So to demonstrate, I would use my last name and first name. Now, there are some additional Java doc tags. One of them that we would want to use here is, if you scroll down, you'll see there is an entry that says since. And what this is a created date. So we'll look at today's date here. It's September 14th according to my date. You'll fill in your date. And so I'll say Monday, September 14th, 2015. And then for the next line, again, I'll hit this, and we're going to fill in, let's look through our choices here, we're going to fill in as our next option here category, and for category we're going to put AP Java period, and then you're going to fill in the period of the particular class that you're in, and this will essentially identify your program, tell me that you created it, when it was created. Now, the final tag here that will sometimes exist is a version tag if you are doing multiple versions of this code, and we are, so we're going to put version, and then we're going to call this version 1.0. And of course, the assignment for today is to export this project and send it home, and then you're going to update this version so that it's version 2.0, and you're going to export that project and email it to me to complete your assignment. So, having said that, let's see how we export a project. So, first, you may notice from time to time that there is this little tiny asterisk here next to the name of your project. Well, what does that mean? That means that you have unsaved changes. And there's 2 ways to get rid of that little asterisk. One is to hit Command S on your keyboard. If you're using a PC, Control S. The other is to simply run your program, which will automatically save any changes. And you always want to do that before you export a project. It's just a safer step. Okay, how do we export a project? Well, first we're going to come over here to where it says Hello World Project, and then we're going to right click on the project, and we're going to go down to the menu item that says Export. Okay, once we are on export, we will click and we will see this menu. Now, from this box here, we're going to click the disclosure triangle, that's this little black triangle, next to where it says General. Click the disclosure triangle, and then you're going to see several choices here. We want the Archive File option. Once we've clicked Archive File, we're going to scroll down here to where it says Next. Click that, and then we're going to see this wonderful box here with a whole bunch of options. As long as there is a blue check mark next to the project you're trying to export that says the project's name here, you are ready to go. The next step is going to be to click the Browse button and decide where to save this project. Okay, so now I'm looking at my file chooser here, and a safe place to go ahead and save your project is simply to your Downloads folder. It'll be easier to see, and then you have to put in a name for your project. So I'm going to call this Hello World Project. Now, it's a really good idea to add a version number here when you export your project, because you may have multiple versions of these that you've sent to yourself. So I'm going to put V1 here, and then we're going to click Save. Now, one might think that since I clicked Save, I actually saved the file, but in fact I didn't. All I did was save the path where that file would be created were I to click the actual button that makes it all happen, which is the Finish button. So now you click Finish. Alright, now at this point, things get a little bit different depending upon which email client you're using, but you should be able to email this project to yourself using something like this process. So I'm going to switch to my Finder menu here, go to Downloads, look for Hello World Zip. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to go to Services and look for, do I have a way to email this to myself? I thought it was going to be in here as a shortcut, but apparently I was wrong, so I'm going to have to do this the hard way. What I'm going to do is go to my particular email client, start a new email, which I will address to myself. Of course, you're going to use your email address here. And then I'm going to say the name of the project. And then I'm going to attach my file, which is Hello World Project V1 zip. Choose. And now I'm going to email it. And off it goes. Okay, that is the end of the video. If you've sent that email project to yourself, you are ready to receive it when you get home, and then you will import it following the video that is available online. You'll also receive an email with instructions of how to properly modify the file and where to email it back. Thank you very much.